Hello everyone, my name is Byron Henry. As mentioned in many of my videos, I call myself Byron Henry. That's my human name for human stability. In this video, I have a lot to discuss based on new information that's come to me through the universe and quantum physics and the higher mind. So we're going to discuss some of this stuff, and I hope that it interests certain people and helps them forward with their life and the movements they're making. Well, we're just going to go through a series of points, and I've spliced the video a little bit here. Took memos on many different points, and we're just going to discuss through them, and hopefully it'll cover everything and be a very interesting journey. First discussion is about chi energy in the body, and how I'd like to reassure everybody that as their body balances throughout the master growth, the pituitary gland, and all their energy system, that everything will balance out very intelligently. The body is a very intelligent system in that we will eat all kinds of different food, imbalances, but not experience carbohydrate push, as I said, not experience our body going up and down beyond an intelligence energy, because the body system is able to manage itself in an energy we call chi energy, or organ energy, or has many different forms and names. But this energy will allow us to be totally aware of time-space, which is the higher quantum mind, a command system to allow us to be able to do everything we want, when we want, and have the information we want, be patient, commanded, and all this stuff. So I reassure everybody that if you have some ups and downs, it will start to become smoothed out as time goes on, and you'll be able to become more and more confident with your choices during this chi energy. Now, one of the ways that it works with peace and harmony, and what it gives you the ability to have this amazing akashic memory, amazing ability to enjoy the balance of all things, to give your life a fullness and fulfillment, is that you come to a fruitioning point with anything, a letting go. One of the most difficult things that we run into as human beings, and I ran into it for many times in our life, we get a compulsion, an ability to want to hold on to something, but it's because we forget how much we can enjoy the next thing and the next thing in a balance. And having the best of everything is, of course, the most we can give our life and the happiest we can be. So one of the most greatest things you'll find as you go on through life and have this happen for yourself is the letting go. The spirit is all about letting go. When you can have something, but you have that epic letting go, I don't need it anymore, it creates a zero point. It creates a spiritual moment, a meditative moment at which you feel fulfilled. And then what happens is you can go on to enjoy something else, and so on and so forth. Sounds like a big cup of tea, a big whatever you want to call it, difficult. But it's not really. Just try it, work with it, and it will work. And you'll be able to have like multiple personalities within yourself, but you're not putting on a fake show. It really is yourself. It's just multiple selves. You got the self over here, here, and here, and here, all kind of like different people, but it's all in your soul, and you can start to enjoy everything, the best of everything. You can be listening to very big dance music and jumping around, but then you can listen to meditation music, relax yourself. You can be on kind of a bit of a sugar high because you're enjoying something like this. Special. By the way, this stuff is freaking amazing. This is the best ice cream you can get. It's coconut based. Yesterday I had that. I was on a bit of a sugar high with it, but it's optimal. It's amazing. It's very healthy stuff. But then you can just relax to a good salad. Feel good that you put in some greens, and maybe you're going to take your chlorella, you're going to take your spirulina. So we can get the best of all worlds with this, and our body system will let us do that. So I just wanted to mention that. That's another one of our main points. The letting go, the spirituality that lets us experience that. The truth about everybody is they have something called the crown chakra. I talk about that in my work, and it is true. The crown is the center of awareness. Some people think that the center of awareness is the heart. Well, it is part of it. It's because it's all one. You have to use it all together. The heart bridges with the third eye, but it all is contained within the crown. Such a simplistic factor. Just imagine a prism. Everybody's seen, Pink Floyd. White light goes into one center, colors come out the other center. We don't need to complicate it. The chakras are the same. The white light's at the top, that's your crown. Your crown's the center of awareness. Activation point, simple thing. The center of awareness is that tells you the truth about everything. And everybody has that. And if you love yourself completely, you tell yourself the truth about yourself up there. Anything you do, believe me, you'll know the truth. When we change something within the now, that we were repeating the action, but change it right in that moment. And is it a difficult thing to do? Sometimes yes. Yes, it is. I had to quit alcoholism, and I was an alcoholic at one time. And, I had to be very strict with myself, very strong. You'll see that sometimes people have done different techniques to heal their mental body, their mental self. Not their thinking mind, not their talking mind, their chatting mind, but their mental self, their full spiritual self. It's funny, one of the truth about spiritual healing, here's a little secret. It's very funny, but spiritual healing is a fancy way of saying, change your mind. It's also simple, it's one particle. Your spirit is your mind. Your mind is your spirit. Our world was created from fifth and sixth dimensions. Entities called the wonders. There's some really amazing teachers that were my teachers. I have a list of them. And the wonders are a trans-channel entity. Some people may have heard of them. They were my first teachers. They're an entity from what they call the 29th dimension, although I believe it all to be folded in on 666 because it is all within, a hexagon, and get into that all later. I talk about that kind of stuff. It's all one particle. It's a simple math. It's consistently just layered upon itself. But basically, these entities simply discussed, where were we here? Gotta pull it back. These entities simply discussed the simplicity. Hold on here, I've got to cut. I'm going to come back as soon as I catch this. Here's the trick. If you forget what you're saying, or what you want to say, or what you want to know, never think about it. It'll come into your quantum physics. It'll come right back. When you go into a room, right? I forgot why I was there. Why is it then when you walk back into a room and you forgot why you're there, how come you know why? Here's a trick, I'll tell you why. You see this telephone? That's a different telephone, not the same telephone. You see? Because really what's happening, you've seen the movie The Matrix, right? What's happening is that's frames. It's frames. There's a different code that makes that up, but it looks like it's moving. Oh yeah, amazing stuff like that, it's true. And so that's my theory, which is very simple, on why you walk back into a room but you remember what you were doing. It's because you walk back into the same circumstance quantumly. You walk back into the same frames, you walk back into the memory. This is a different point. See, I'm on a different point right now, but it's a good point. Memory, because this stuff goes on and on, but it's so simple, all comes back to one. I've been waiting to make this video for this music video. I have music videos, this is not one. La, 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 la. No, it's very, very interesting how memory is two different things. Everything that you do in quantum physics, every frame that's ever been done is captured in soul essence. That's your memory. And it works along with the brain. And the brain has little crystals that are in the center of the cells of your brain, like quartz crystals, and they hold that information and connect back to that information. But everywhere you ever moved in your life, there's a memory. The memory's there. Like, it's very infinite. Some people can learn 5 languages. Me, I can only speak a little bit of French so far, and I speak mostly English. It doesn't matter. It's not a competition. But the point is, it's infinite with memory. and you can really pull back the memories at any time, select them any time. So that's my theory. You walk back into the room where you were, you're sitting quantumly in a position at which is where you were. That's why you pull back the memory instantly. You were standing there. It's amazing. Because don't get too caught up on our bodies. We are our bodies, but we are actually the circumstances around us. We actually quantumly are what we are everything. Like, I am the telephone is me. I am my spring water is me. I am my spring water provider, which is my friend. So lucky I met this guy. He's a wonderful, wonderful cat. He provides me with my spring water, and he actually brings it to my doorstep, which is really, really cool. And I wanted to do that for the longest time. You know, I don't have to carry my water, which is really cool. He's supposed to be over today between 12 to 1 o'clock. Very trustable, man. Anyway, I'm going on. But that's a point that I wanted to mention. So we'll move on to something else, and we'll discuss it. This video is just, like I said, anything that I had come up with at this point to understand everything. I just want to let everybody know. Like, you know, I'm not here to sound like I'm an oracle of information. It's just that anything that I knew, anything that I'm learning, I just want to share it with anybody who can use the information and enjoy it. Because it is a heck of a lot of information that all comes back to one, and we'll all realize it's so simple. The biggest issue is that we make it out to be so complicated because we disconnect. Like I said, you know, how simple is it, eh? Pink Floyd, white light comes in a crystal, makes a rainbow. Your chakras are one, red's at the bottom, violet's at the top. You're a rainbow. It's beautiful. You're a rainbow, right? Exactly. It's simple. The body system cannot be disconnected. It's not as if I can take my pituitary gland and remove it from my master growth. It's not as if I can take my left hemisphere of my brain and disconnect it from the right. And so that's why we learn how it all works together, because we learn there's a reason for everything. But if you disconnect it, then you just cannot see it. And it's very simple. So anyway, we'll move on. One of the next points that's come into my understanding through my experience, and I feel is very important for many people to concentrate on, is getting a good sleep at night. And I mentioned this before in my work. It's very important when you sleep. It's not so much how much sleep you get, but I always recommend, I know Danny Vitalis, amazing man, when it comes to one of my kind of friend teacher guys too. I don't mind mentioning other people's names, you know, some really great guys out there. David Wilcock, amazing man, you know, you got, you know, Marco Rodin, amazing guy, you know, my teacher of nutrition, David Wolf, fantastic guy. All these people, you know, amazing people around the world. But at one point, yeah, Daniel feels it's a good idea to get, like, you know, 9-10 hours of sleep. I recommend that too. I found that's good. Getting a good sleep at night, about 9 to 10 hours. 10 hours if you need it. 9 hours is a good idea. And sleeping is very important, but it's the quality of sleep that matters. And that's because our body can regrow and reshape itself during that sleep. You know, it's where our tendons get stronger, our muscles can get stronger, and most importantly, we can actually reshape our spiritual self during sleep. I questioned for a while and wondered, you know, like, what's going on when we're sleeping? What's the difference when we're waking? It's a very good question, you know, because we look at it as that perspective of what's going on. And again, it always comes back to the simplicity. We always want to complicate it. It must be this, it must be that. You know, it's all the same thing. It's fantastic, you know. 5D, you know, I call it 5D. I love it. It's like you know, it's like 1D, you know. You know, the boys 1D. Well, I call it 5D. It's very good. It's my short form for it. It's fifth dimension or fifth density. We have our world is made from sixth dimension and fifth dimension. Fifth dimension, sixth dimension, and down to fourth and third. Here's the simplicity that I realize is an amazing thing, how it's all connected. Fifth dimension is always existing. It's the frames. It is the pure mathematics. I'm sitting here, there, fifth dimension. I'm sitting there, fifth dimension. What is going on here? It's simple. Fourth dimension is a blueprint. It's what we create. It's a time-space plan. fourth dimension, basic fourth density, simply says that this phone here will, fourth dimension, fourth density simply says that I will go moving like this. You know, I'm here, and then I will move back to there, and I will come back to there. Well, as I'm doing that, that's a time-space plan, right? Whereas fifth dimension's at the same time. It's the frames. Certain entities that have expanded to a certain level can experience their multiple soul selves simultaneously. But that's all fifth dimension, because that is all the frames, and that's the pure math. But then the time-space is simply how we take it through a time-space scenario, and that's the fourth. So the fourth is not separate from the fifth, you see? That's the phenomenal thing I realized here. They're not moving separately, they are one. It's just because one is being perceived that way through time-space, whereas the other is the pure information of what it is. And then the third density is what we call the physical mind, or the illusion of separation that we create through judgment, rudeness of ourselves or others, or just the fact we feel trapped within our own energy and things like that, when really it is only our own self. Okay? But getting back to what I was saying, and not getting off onto a tangent there for a minute, about when you're sleeping at night. It's also simple. The dreams that you have, and when you're having a lucid dream, or the dreaming, is no different than me sitting right here. It's all the same thing. When you're dreaming at night, you're simply moving around time and space information, and then you're coming back. So having a good night's sleep can be a very important thing, because you can have spiritual healing, or, as I said, easy way of putting it, change your mind. You can have mental healing, because if you're lucid in your dreams, if you're feeling good and you don't feel nervous and concerned, you can wake up the next day and you're being healed. It's part of your self-healing. So a good night's sleep, very important. We should try to get it, and I recommend that we do that. There's a dimethyltryptamine in your brain time that comes out to around 3:30 to 4:30 for diurnal animals. Diurnal animals simply mean we are waking in the day, and we are sleeping at night. It's in the genetics, and it's connected back to Gaia, our planet Gaia. Simply means that that's why you'll notice if you ever went to a late night party. I used to go to raves, and they always put the DJ on, the prime DJ, at 3 o'clock. Everybody got hyped up. Oh my God, it's the major DJ, right? He's coming on at 3 o'clock. I always wondered, like, why was that? Always try to make the connection, like, why was that, right? Why did everybody get so hyped up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Simple, found out why. It's because as diurnal animals, the dimethyltryptamine, which is that which allows us to really connect spiritually, happens at the strongest level around 3 to 4 at night. Very interesting. Anyway, thought I'd mention that and bring that into the video too. This is good. This video is my probably the widest video I've done yet with information on this stuff. So it's really great, and sharing it's great. The less we have ego, the less we have an interest in showing ourselves off to others, the more brilliant we are, the more that we know, and the more that we can share. You know, I am a brilliant person, yes, and I know a lot, but the bottom line is you are a brilliant person. Everybody is a brilliant person inside, and we need to share with each other more information, and more information to free ourselves, you know. The biggest tragedy on the planet is people just trying to simply hide the information from other people, when this can set ourselves free, and we don't need to do that, you know. If somebody knows something more than you know, well, learn from them, and that's what I try to do, and then just try to share that, and then we can all share that together. As I said, I have a list of many people that I learned from, and all that I know comes from them, and comes from myself, and share with the universe. Just to touch base on the point back that I was talking about just previously about the dreaming, our body is really a conduit, from my understanding, into the spiritual world and into dreaming, and it just simply it is this link to everything. A really amazing conversation that I put on my Facebook page, and it was when Deepak Chopra, amazing man, he's one of my teachers too. Deepak Chopra had a discussion with a neurologist who is, I forget his name, very advanced neurologist, but he's a very open man into the quantum physics realm. And he and Deepak had this awesome conversation in which he was talking about what, you know, the sectors in the brain and all this stuff, and how you know, we are reproducing stuff from our brain and back and forth, and it's brought through the crown chakra, and that we illuminate through our brain systems this mirror image of ourselves and stuff. But very similar to the conversation that I put together from Deepak Chopra and this amazing man, I forget his name, that is the neurosurgeon. And drink spring water, whatever you do. And the neurosurgeon. And this guy discusses that. And so that's very true about how it's working is the conduit, which is our body. It's working between us all. Fantastic stuff. Dan Winner is also a pretty cool guy. Sometimes misunderstood because of some of his past situations and stuff that he ran into, but amazing man too. You know, I also learned from some of his stuff. But he's you know, he's all about, he's the golden mean man. He's all about the golden mean and how the golden mean works. But you know, he's like the golden mean guy, but he's true, and it's all about golden mean. But anyways, whatever. So we are illuminating this back to our brain. It's a conduit anyway for our body. So let's see what other information we have to share. An interesting point that I'd like to bring up is about the chakras, or the chakras, you know, whatever you want to call them. What these are doing is they're vortexes that are spinning. And, you know, I'm all about the chakras. You can check out my work and I discuss all that. An interesting point, when we are finding ourselves repeating actions, like, you know, we always smoking the cigarette, we're always getting angry, we're always repeating things, it makes quite a bit of sense. Because within our quantum cells, in the time-space realm, as the chakras are spinning and the planet's spinning, it's like a latch. You catch on and it repeats. It's like a cycle. It's inside the vortexes of yourself. So it makes sense. Every time the day repeats, every time your week repeats, you're repeating the same action. That's why when you change stuff in the Power Now, you basically, bang, you crack that. Like one of the things that I used to do, and you have to be tough on yourself sometimes, is you just crack it like Kung Fu, man. Like you just basically have to, you've heard of the people that take their cigarettes, throw them out. You have to be like that sometimes. You just have to, oh, I'm not gonna butter the cake, man. And what happens is it snaps you right out of the nonsense, you know? In the Power Now. Like suppose, you know, you're gonna go to somebody and you're gonna get rude. At that point you say, I don't bloody well do that. And as you do that, it just pops that out. So what happens is as the chakras rotate around again and the funnels rotate again, that's gone. And so every day you're repeating a different cycle. And just something I wanted to mention, not such a point when we're dealing with, like, you know, the 4D world, we're flipping all around up there without the time, but when we're sitting down in what we call the 3D dimension, it just has to do with the density level and the time space. You got your chakras rotating around, and when you snap yourself out of those modes, you can put yourself in a permanently great position where you will just continue to do the same things without having to think about it because it is rotating. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't think about brushing your teeth in the morning, and when you fix certain things in your life, you fix in your chakras and they will rotate around like that and just repeats. Okay, so we'll move on now. One of the things that it's all really about, in my opinion, is as humans giving ourselves what I call the big break. You know, give yourself a break. You know, in society we are taught, throughout much of society in the years, we are taught to put ourselves through a whole lot. You know, and your human body itself is very sensitive. The truth is, the more sensitive you are, the stronger you really are. That's why the Wonders once put it, as I said, these entities I first learned from years ago. Even this is before I got over alcoholism, when I was just first getting on my spiritual path. They said, you're brilliant as the sun, You're gentle as a breeze, and you're strong as a mountain. Honesty, honesty, honesty. You know, it's an amazing thing. And that's why we're all going to be honest together. Whoever's listening to this video, you came to the video because you're ready to hear this stuff, share this stuff, and be my friend. We all are friends. And I want you to know that. Brilliant as the sun, strong as a mountain, gentle as a breeze. What the wonders always said, what these entities always said, that the brilliance is a mountain, brilliant as the sun, strong as a mountain, gentle as a breeze, and love yourself so completely, they said. Love yourself so completely. So here's the definition of loving oneself. Give yourself the big break and always be honest with yourself. Because you know the truth, right? You don't look in the mirror and say you're black when you're white. You don't look in the mirror and say your eyes are green when they're blue. You don't look and say your refrigerator didn't go on. When you hear it. No, I'm just joking. Honesty. Alright? So, and give yourself the big break. We're all going to give ourselves the big break coming up. One more point I'd like to mention, which is very interesting, and this just comes down to the way that we deal with the fourth density, or what we call the blueprint reality. It says a blueprint. As I said, what it does is it takes all the possible frame possibilities of the fifth dimension or the 5D quantum world, and it puts them into a time-space scenario to create an image of your life. You're going to do this on Tuesday, you're going to do that next week, you see that coming, and it's going there. In reality, all this is coming from the fifth dimension, which is the pure quantum reality of all the primary information that makes it up in the frames. Frames, you know, like the Matrix. That's why the Matrix movie was like that. Some people caught that, some people didn't. That's why they freeze in the Matrix and they shift. Okay, it's to show you what's happening on the fifth dimension and the fourth dimension, to show you how time is working like that. So the point is that I want to get at here is that when you find yourself in the sleep, you don't have to do this, but I find it works. It's why I developed the Circle of Life program. That's what the natives call it, the Circle of Life, and it is a very great thing. When you wake and sleep on the circular system with the sun rising and dropping, in your brain you get a time clock that starts to work very well. And what this does is it brings you into alignment with your creations in the 4D template astral world. It's the astral plane, the template reality of time space, so that you can basically stay focused to see that I'm going to bring this out in time, but I am aware of where things are located. I'm not forgetting where they are, when they are, and things like that. You know, you can pull and stay very organized based on this, all because the system and the clock in your brain is working. Many animals have this without thinking in the wild and stuff like that. They just can recognize that's the time or that is not the time. Sometimes as this gets better within your system, a great way to test yourself with your mouth is sometimes you can see, like, without looking at the clock, you can say, well, what time is it? You know, it's about 10 o'clock. You check the clock. Oh shit, you know, it's 9:50. Pretty close, you know, or you feel like it's 4 o'clock, you check, oh, it's about 4:35, okay, well, at 4:15 I'm pretty close. This time situation in the brain really can allow you to be quite confident with your plans, if you see yourself taking them over. You know, depends how you live life. If you're very in the moment, just want to flip back and forth, you can do that. That's called parallel reality, and everybody can do that. But if you want to take your stuff through time sequence and stuff like that, you wake and you get on the cycle pattern. And believe me, I've been off the cycle pattern as well too sometimes, and it does happen. But you know, if you're staying on it fairly well, it can assist you with the clock. You know, we don't wait for things with a clock. Like we're not like, you know, I'm waiting. It's just that when you're meditating, the clock is going automatically in your brain, you know, because the chakras are spinning. Like the clock is because, you know, your third eye spins, and it goes to the pineal gland, the center of the brain, the pineal gland, the center of your brain. They're spinning. It's like a clock. It's like a time clock. You know, it's spinning in there. So you basically know, like, this happening, and that time is happening, that time. Okay, so that's one point that I just wanted to mention. Can help. Now, getting back to just a little quick talk about DNA. DNA is an amazing thing. It's sometimes a little bit misunderstood because it's a primary molecule. It's a molecular level. It's below the cellular level. It's a molecule. But the most important thing to understand about the DNA is it's like a little tubular chakra in itself. Everything is all this whole quantum world, which you'll hear about, and I mean by now it's very much out in the open, is all basically a hologram. It's all a hologram anyway. Your chakra system, and as I said, just like Pink Floyd splitting it all into a simple prism of color, is the same thing as your DNA. That's why we'll all connect. So how easy it is, my friends, and you are my friends. We're all going to connect this together. We're going to learn and see, my God, it was all connected. It was so simple, you know. The DNA is just the same as the chakras. If I'm standing like this, you might as well see me standing beside the DNA. You might as well take, a rainbow, pop that over top of my chakras. There's my chakras. Then you might as well take a DNA strand, take that, enlarge it, and pop that over top of the chakras. You might as well show the Indian chart of the chakras and then take a DNA strand and pop that over. It's all the same, also simple. The Kundalini is coming up like that, and so is the DNA stranding up like that. It's all connected. We have a million different chakras on our body. We have chakras in our fingers, we have chakras in our hands. Here's the secret, we got chakras everywhere. Yeah, every cell has a chakra, or chakra. Yeah, because every cell has the DNA in the center of it, and that is the tubular, that is what shoots through time and space, so it's the connector unit. And I just wanted to mention that because that's what this whole thing about DNA activation is. Everybody's heard of this DNA activation. Remember a guy out there that calls himself Ram, amazing cool guy. He was always into the DNA activation stuff for a long time. One of the first guys I popped into. One of my other teachers and growers of life, an amazing man I love. But basically he's all about that, the DNA activation. And activation is, this whole thing about DNA activation is just exactly that. Okay? That you get in touch with the whole quantum world and the whole knowing of the time-space, the whole knowing of these dimensions, multidimensional thing and all this stuff. And it all comes down to one simple thing, and it is one. So it comes down to one particle, but it is DNA that links you to that. So I just wanted to mention that about the DNA point. Okay, there's not much more to say about DNA. It's just a simple thing. It's what links everything together, DNA. And one point, I think maybe the last point we're going to mention here in this video, is just an interesting point, how the meridians and the chakras actually are no different than the human mind, the spirit. And it is one too. Again, we're all bringing it back to one. When you're feeling like you're going to do something, the meridians are opening, the energy's moving, and you're doing it. You've heard of stories about how, an old woman was able to lift up a truck to save her child or something like that. How did she do that? It's simple. How do Shaolin monks fly through the air? Because the meridians and the chakras are connected to the mental body to mind. Same thing. Anyway, I believe that's all we're going to do in this video for now, and if there is any more to mention in the future, make another video. But I think we covered quite a bit in this one. And again, my friends, give yourself the big break, and together we're all going to learn more, and then we're going to free ourselves. Peace and harmony and love to everybody. Take care.